router. We'll export. We need to export our router. We'll export our router as banner. Let's export it as banner route. Yeah, we'll export it as banner route, and quickly we will come in here to and create the index file for our routes. So index.tss, and inside here we'll say export all, just like we did it for the controller. Export all from banner routes. That's the idea. So we're good to go. So we'll come to our app, Express app. So we'll go to our Express app, and inside our Express app we want to call it app.use and then I want to bring in the banner route. Cool. You can see it has imported it, and that's all we really need to do. So yes, asset. That's all we really need to do here. So if everything worked out fine, we should be able to create our we'll be able to create our banners and save it in our database. So we'll to do that, we're going to be using Postman. We're going to be using Postman. So let me just get my Postman. So this is my Postman. That's what we'll be using to send the banner to the back end. So it's a post request. We'll come here and change it to post, and then we'll have our URL. So this is it. So we're calling it banner based on what we wrote here. So we called it in our route. Where's our route? In our route, yes, from our route we call it what banner. So that's what we're targeting. So we'll come to our Postman again, and then we're sending it banner, and then this is 881. So we're sending it to 8081, and we'll come here. It's a form. So we'll come to our body, and you can see it's a form. So it's a form, and the first thing there is the name. So please also make sure that you follow the structure. So the name came first. You have to put the name, and then the name is text, and then we have our images. So you can see I'm using the images, and then it's a file, and then we have is active. So it's active. Let's make it true, and then here let's get the file first. Let's add a banner. So I'm going to be adding this one. So let's call it banner 1. You can give it any name you like. So banner 1. Then we'll send. If everything is fine, you should be able to get a success message. Good, banner created successfully. That means it worked out very well. So we'll go back. Let's go to our back end now and see if we have banner, we have the item saved. So we'll come to inside our collection. You see it's inside test. Good, we have banner images, and then if we open it, we should find it there. So let's wait for it. Cool, this is cool, banner 1, and then we have our images. This is cool, we have our image saved there. So we saved one image. So we have our image also saved correctly. And then if we go to our asset folder, see our assets, and you can see banner 1. Let me open it. Cool, so we have it saved. Everything is working fine. So let's add some banners. So I'm going to call this banner 2. Banner 2. Let's remove this, and let's add this and save. Created successfully. Let's have banner 3. Let's add another one. This is working out fine. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and share, and I would appreciate if you send in your comments. I will respond to all of it. Thank you. So let's add one more banner. Banner 4. Let's call it banner 4, and we save everything. Cool, it's saved. So if we go back to our database, we should have 4 banners there. So let's refresh that. Cool. So you see we have 4 banners in there. That means everything is working out fine. So, and you can see here too, we are getting the value in our console because we asked it to console it. Where is it? From our controller here. So I'll comment this out. So, but you can see it's bringing the information, and this is the latest banner we sent. We saved, and you can see everything is working fine. So the next thing we'll do now is to fetch. We need to get the banners that we sent, that we saved, so we can display it in the front end, at the front end. So to do that, we'll go to our controller quickly and write that. So without wasting time, I'll come here and say export const, let's call it get banners. And we're going to use the async method. Let me just copy it so we won't waste time. We won't have to waste time rewriting that. I'll copy it and bring it down here. And then we'll be using the try catch block. So let me copy it from here as well. And then inside here, so let's say here, in here we're going to have const, let's say const banners. So will be equal to await let's say we're going to await banner dot find. We're going to use the find method. So we're going to use the find method, and then we will have our status. Let's bring this out. Then we have our status equal to 200 and send. We're going to send a response to the front end, and it will be a response of banner. So that's what we'll send. You can also console that. Remove the comment, console.log. So let's say banner images found. Banner images found, and we're going to send the banners. So, and then if it's an error, if there's an error, we want to say banners not found. And then we can display the error. So, and that's all we need to do. You see, it's faster now because we are going to be repeating, we're going to be using almost the same thing, so we'll just be changing where necessary, so it makes it faster henceforth. So we'll come in here, and then we don't really have to do anything inside here. So it has been captured here. We'll go to our route. So inside our route, we'll come here. Let's just copy this. We'll copy this, paste it, and this time it's a get request. So it's a get request, and then we'll let's call it get banner. Say get banners or get banner, and then we'll be using this. We'll also use get banner. You see what will happen now? Get banner, get banners. And you see the way it will import it. You see, that's the reason why we're using that index.tsx. So you see the way it's importing it. And then that's all we need to do. We're good to go. Then we'll also come to our, and that's all we need to do. We don't have to do anything anymore. You can see this is cool, isn't it? It will also recognize it in our Express directly. So now we'll go to the front end and then retrieve this information so we can display it in the at the front end. This is the front end folder. So in our front end here, we'll create another folder inside. So we'll create a folder called types, and inside the folder we'll create home props.tsx. So inside that, we're going to get our banner. We're going to say export interface banner params. So banner params will be the name. The name will be string. We're going to have images. images will be string as well, and then it's active. Which is Boolean. Then we're going to say export fetch banner. So we're going to say export fetch banner, and we're going to make it the data, and it must be the same as the name we called it from our backend, and we used banners with a capital B, and then it's going to call in the banner params, and it's an array. It must be an array. So let's just keep the result banner params and it's an array. So we have saved this. So we'll come to, so these are home props. So we'll go to our component. Inside our component, let's create a folder and create middleware folder, middlewares, and inside middleware we're going to create the home middleware. I think it makes sense that way. Middlewares.tsx. So inside the whole middleware, that's the last thing we need to do right now. So we're going to say import React. From React, we need to also import Axios. That's Axios is what we're going to be using to make the call to the backend. Axios. So we'll come here and say interface. Let's say interface. Let's say banner props. Let's call it interface banner props. And then we're going to say set banner images, because it's the banner images that we need, set banner images, and we're going to make it equal to, okay, let's import this patch from React. We can just use this patch. So we're going to import this patch from React. So set banner will be this patch. And then we also need to import set state. Set state action, yeah. Set state action. Set state action. And then it will be set state action will take the banner params. So we import the banner params. So we're going to come in here and let's just create a path once and for all. So let's copy the path from our backend, from the path we add in the backend inside the banner controller, right? Yes, this. Okay, let's just copy all what we need. We need only this. We need only this. Bring it to the front end. And let's copy the try catch block too. There's a try catch block. Yes, let's copy this so it will make it faster. So we'll bring this here and then const export const. Let's call this fetch banner. Fetch banner, and it's an async method. So we're going to link this up to our iBanner interface banner props, and then we're going to set banner images, and then using our try, we're going to let's create the file part as well. Let's call this file part. Okay, let's say const file part. So file path, the path is the get banner. You still remember the get banner that we declared. That's the part I'll show you very shortly. So we have the get banner, or let's just make it get banners. So we need to correct the one at the back too, which is this. Where is it? In our route, in our route for route banner route. Yeah, this is it. So we say get banners, and let's save that. Let's make sure it's saved. So it's saved. We'll go back to the front end, and in here, so we're using the same, we're calling the same. So we'll come here and we'll say we get the response from the back end, and then we're going to type check it using our fetch banner from types from our home props, and that will be, and we're going to use Axios. So we're going to use Axios. I already have Axios imported, so we're going to say axios.get, and then we're going to say path plus the file path. So it invariably means you're writing, this is what it means. Let me just write it out, and then, so what I'm necessarily doing is I'm picking this, I'm saying path, and then we're saying get banners. That's what's just going on. Do you understand? So I'm going to comment this out, and here the response here now, we won't be needing this. So we'll have our, so we destructure the response, and we have response.data, and that response.data must be equal to, they must see it's already bringing in our banners. And if we come to our back end here, you discover that we called it banners. They must be the same. If not, it will throw an error. It won't work. So you can see this is what it's calling out. This is what we are calling banners. This title must be exactly the same. If not, you have an error. You won't be able to fetch those information, the images. So come here. So banners, they must be the same. And then after that, we are going to set. So if you like, you can console that. Okay, let me just console it. Images found. It will be equal to banners, and then we are going to set our banner images. So that's the point where we use it. So we set our banner images and equal to banners, and we are good to go. And if there's an error, we'll just console.log the error. So if there's an error, we'll come here and say error, and console the error, display the error. Let's say an error occurred. So we say an error occurred. So we can save. We can save, and if it's an error, we'll say an error occurred. So I think we're okay here. The next thing we'll need to do now, we need to go to our home screen, and have the banner displayed there. So inside our home screen now, we'll come here. So inside our home screen, we'll say const, and we're going to use state. We will use state, and then that use state we will pass our banner params, and then it's going to be an array, and I will pass the array in here. So let's call it banner image. I say banner images, and then set banner images. So that's all. And we'll use effect. We say let's call use effect. We'll use effect, and then we're going to pass. We're going to pass the fetch banner from our middleware, our home middleware. So we're going to say fetch banner, and then we are going to pass in the argument, and it will be equal to our set banner images. So we're having an error because this is supposed to be a color brace. So set banner images. So you see we no longer have the error. Then we're going to add our dependency array. So it will run, so it will not keep looping. So that's it. Then we'll come to our image here. Let's now work with our image and bring in the image. So from here, we're going to loop through our banner image. So we'll get the images, and then it will be banner image. We'll loop through it using the map function. So you see it's going to get the images, and because an array will start from the first one, and everything is fine. So if everything it works out, cool, this is beautiful. You can see our images displaying beautifully. And if we come here, this is beautiful, and you can see it's bringing up. This is beautiful. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. And you can see our images sliding in real time every 5 seconds. So we're good to go. Sorry, let me just, so you can see everything is beautifully displayed. So the next thing we want to do now, we want to start with the product category. We want to render the product category section. And to do that, we'll just come here and let's say text. So we'll bring in text. Let's call it category. We're going to add a style into it. Let's give it font size of 20. We're going to give it font size, font weight. Let's make it bold. Then let's give it padding. Let's make it padding 10. Let's see what we have. Cool. So let me enlarge this a little. So we're giving it a margin top of 10, and let's comment out this. Where is it? Home middleware. So from home middleware here, where's okay, yeah, console the log. Let's take that out. So after this, we want to render a scroll view, and we want to render the categories horizontally. So we're going to say horizontal because the default for scroll view is vertical. So we don't want it to show the horizontal scroll indicator. So we'll make it equal to false. Then let's add content container style and make them padding horizontal. Padding horizontal, let's make it 15. Then we can also add, let's add margin, let's add some styles into it and give it margin top of 4. So let me bring this down. Let me also bring these two down. Yeah. So let's save it. And then quickly, let's go and create the category model and every other thing we need to do from the back end so that we can fetch the category in the front end. So without wasting time, we'll go to the back end. And in here in our model, we're going to let's create category model. Category model.ts. So let's go to our banner model and import and copy everything there because we need to run faster now. We've actually done most of the things we needed to do, so there's no point wasting time. So we're going to use this, and then we're going to create another params for the type check for the product. So from here we can call this product category schema. So let's just copy so that we'll do everywhere have category. So we have category schema. So we have category schema, and category schema we have name as well. and then it will have images. So we will remove is active, and every other thing remains the same. Apart from, we need to come here and call this, let's call this categories. Let's call this categories. We'll write the type very shortly, and then let's call these categories. And then we're going to add the category schema, which we've already done. And then here we're going to export everything as category. So we needed to write the type check for it. So every other thing is fine. So we'll go to our params. There's a params. Okay, without wasting time, let me just locate it, type check params. So inside our params, let's write an interface, and then we'll say export. Okay, because it's almost similar to this. So let's just copy and import here, and we're going to call this category params. Category params, and then we'll remove this. We'll remove this active. I think that's all we need to do here. So we can import it here. So we'll just come here and import category params. Cool, and everything is fine now. You can see it's more faster. Then we're done with category params. Then with category model. So we'll go into the route, and inside the route we'll create inside controller. Let's do controller first. So inside our controller, we come here and say category controller. Category controller.ts. And the same way, we're going to copy our banner controller and dump it here, and we'll just make adjustment to it as well, because we'll be using the create and the fetch. So here we are not going to be using the banner and the parameters of the banner. So to create a category, we're going to call this create category, and then in here we're going to import our category params. Category params, that's cool. Then we don't need is active here. This is already throwing an error because it's not part of it. So from our files, it remains the same. Our path remains the same as well. Then the images, it remains the same, you can see. So we're going to have categories here. Let's call this categories. Categories, and let's make this, we're going to call our category model, and it's active, is not part. So we remove it. And then we'll come here and we're going to use categories instead. You can see it's faster now. We don't have to go through that step. We just write once and that will suffice. We just make changes. So here we can see category created successfully. Category created successfully. Then if there's an error, we will say fail to create category. So we'll say failed to create category. I think everything is fine. So for now, let's just comment out the fetch. We'll come back to it later. And you can see everything is fine. So we've done everything we have to do. And the next thing we need to do now is in the index. So we'll go to model, category controller, the index in it. We just copy this. What have I done? Yeah. Oh. So we'll just copy this one and bring it here, and here we'll call it good. You can see, so category controller. That's it. Then we'll go to, let's create the route. So for the route, we'll come here and create. So we're going to call it, let's call it a category route .ts. And then as well as usual, we're going to call p everything we have in the banner route and make use of it. There's our banner route. I think this is banner route, yes. So we have our banner route. Where's our category route? This is our category route. We paste everything here. So the only thing we'll not be using here is this. So we'll come here, image is still the same. We're still going to save it in assets, and then the file name will still retain the same. So here now we call it create. Let's just call this. Let's call it create category. Let's call it category. No, create category will be better. Create category. So we're going to say create category to take the image, and this time it will take create category. Cool. So let's comment this out, and everything is fine. So we're moving real fast. Then we'll go to the index in our routes and bring this in here. Copy this, and then category routes. Okay, we've not exported that. We didn't change it. So this should be. So this should be. This should be category. So let's save it and see the error is gone. So let's save this as well. Then we'll come to our Express. Where's the Express? Yes, we'll go to our Express app. And then we're just going to copy this as well and dump it here and make changes to it. So let's call this category, and then we're going to bring our category route. Category route, and we're good to go. This is amazing, right? And it's faster. So we're basically done. We just go to our, let's go to our postman. Instead of our postman, we called it category, and then we have create category. And it's a post request. Let me quickly show you in our banner controller. No, in our Express, see, we called it category. That's the first one we targeted. Then we called it in our route, we called create category. Let's close this model, we may not be needing it. Let's close this as well. So this is the category route, and we call it create category. So they have to be the same. It has to be the same. It's very important. So we'll come here. So let's create the first category here, and I'm going to call it shop MERN. So we're going to create the category. So I'm going to select this for shop MERN, and then we don't need this. We don't need this active. So that's all. If everything works out fine, if we send it, we should get product category created successfully. So let's try that out. So we might need to uncheck this because we don't need it. Correct. We have what category created successfully. So if we come here, we should have it in our assets. You can see it here, shop MERN. Cool, we have it, everything is working fine, so we can delete that. So if we go to our database, let's check from our database as well. So if we go to our database, we'll go to collection. Okay, no, this is it here. So if we refresh this, we're supposed to have it in here. Good. See, we have categories, and this is beautiful. This isn't it? So you can say we have it in here. So I'm just going to create all the database and get back to you so that won't waste time. At least you've seen how it's done. So I've created all the categories. I already have them, so I just have to import them. So I might as well leave the file in the description box so you can have it and have the same. So if we refresh now, we should have we should have about 11 categories. And the first one I created, I had to delete it because it was just a sample, because I already have the categories. So we have 9 categories in here. We have 9 different categories in here. So you can see shop MERN, shop men, and then we have shop women. We have home appliances, we have phones, we have computers, we have watches, we have bags, we have electronics. So that's what we'll be using. So let's quickly go and display them in our front end. So to get that done, we will first of all create fetch the categories. So we'll go to our category controller and then uncomment the fetch. Yes. So we'll come here, we'll call this get categories. Get categories, async method, then we have the result. So we have the result, and then it will be categories. So categories.find, and then let's limit it. We want to limit it to, let's say, we want to limit to 20, or let's say 10. It's up to you. It's optional. You can decide on how you want it to be. And we'll come here. So this will be equal to the result. This will be equal to the result. So we'll come here and then we'll remove this banner and we'll make it equal to, let's say, its result. And here we will be using category. So it will import categories. And then here will be equal to result. So this will be equal to result. And then here we're going to say categories not found. Categories not found. Then we're going to make it equal to result. We'll make this equal to result. And I think we're good to go. Yeah, we'll come here too and say result, or let's say category. Categories not found. Then we'll save it, and then just like I said, I've added it, and you can see all the images I've added. Everything is here. All the images that we're going to be using for the category, they are all here. So I think we are good to go. We can now go from here to our category route. This is our category route. So, and in here we're going to, so we say get categories. Let's call it get categories. And we're going to say it's going to be equal to get categories. Yeah, get categories. So it's going to be equal to get categories, and that's all. Everything is fine. That's all we need to do here as well. Then we'll go to, I think that's all. There's nothing really we have to do anymore. So apart from going to the front end and then fetching this information. So we'll go to the front end now. So we'll come to the front here, and we're also going to be duplicating a lot of things. So we'll come here, duplicate this, and then we're going to call this category. Let's call this category props, and we're going to set categories, and then we need to write the params for category, which will be similar to our banner params. So inside our types, let's create another file and let's call it param, so that we can just do all our type check inside there. So params.tsx, and then we'll bring our home props. Let's copy everything here and bring it to our params, and then we're going to call these category params. So this will be category params, and then we'll remove is active because we're not using it. And so this will be, we are going to be using result here. Whoosh. And then it will be equal to category params. So I think we are good to go. And then we're going to call these fetch categories. So we'll save it, and inside our middleware, this will be category params from params. Cool. And then we are going to use, so here we're going to, I think that's all. Then let's copy this. We already have our part, so we'll leave the part, and then let's copy this, bring it here. So we're going to call this fetch categories, and then we're going to set it to, we're going to get it from category props. So set categories, and then we'll come here, it'll be, so in here we're going to be using get categories, and then the first one was category. You remember all that from our Express app and our route. So the categories from the Express app and the route is get categories. So get categories. Okay, let's just call this part, category part. So let's call this category part, and then we're going to bring it in here. So the initial part remains constant. So category part. Yes, and then this response will be equal to fetch categories. You can see, so it will import it, and then it will be, see, that's why this is throwing an error, because it's supposed to be, see, that's why this is throwing an error, you see, because it's not banner that we have there. So it's supposed to be a result, you can see, and we no longer have that error. So this will be result. So, and it's not set banner, it is set categories, and everything is fine. Wow. So we are doing very well. So we can go to the front end now. I'm going to remove this so it will not confuse us. Let's clean this up, and then this one too. We can call this, we're going to call this the results. Well, let's call this categories found. So we'll come to our home screen here, and inside our home screen, we're just going to duplicate this as well, and then bring this here, and let's call this, no, so let's call these let's call these categories. Let's make this, and this will be equal to category params, and every other thing remains the same. And I want to have this in another use effect, so I'm going to call this, so let's call fetch categories from our middleware, and then we're going to set it to category. Cool. So okay, if I go to the console, let's see if we are getting the result. And if I uncomment this now, cool, you can see it's bringing it up. See categories found, and then you can see all the categories. This is working well. So we might want to put this back. And then the next thing we do now is to display the categories in the category section. So we'll just come here, we'll come down here in our home screen, and inside our scroll view, we are going to map through the category from the use state. So we're going to map through it, and let's say .map. We're going to say item. Let's get the index as well, and then we're going to get a return function, a render function rather. So we're going to render it. So there's one more thing we have to do that we haven't done. So I need to create the category card. Let's go and create the category card from the category from our component. So I'll come here into our component and let's create category. Let's create our category card, category card.tsx. So we're gonna have import. Okay, let me just do, so we can have it. So we can have we use the shortcut, and then we're going to be using pressable. We're going to be using image, We're going to be using image, and then we'll use style sheet. So I think that's all we'll need for now. And then we'll come here. Okay, we may not be needing this. So inside here, we're going to go to our params. Let's bring our params up here. And let's quickly write the type for. So let's go to our types, and then we're going to create a new file and then call it category types.tsx. And in here, I'll say export interface. Let's say category params, cat params, and then we're going to have the item list, which will be, we'll need the ID, and the ID will be string. We'll need the name will be string as well, and then we'll need images will be an array of string. After that, we will need the cat props. So we'll be using the props, and then we want to know when it's active, when a cat is active. So you'll see what we are going to use them for shortly. Then the onPress, and it can be optional. We have image background. We're going to be adding a background to the image. So very shortly you see everything. And then we also need to do type check for our styles. So we're going to say props, and then we have image. We're going to have the image height. The image height will be of number, will be a number, and they're all optional. In case we didn't provide a value for it, it will treat it as undefined. That's what the question mark is saying. It's called optional chaining. So we're going to have a width, we're going to have height. It will also be optional. Then we're going to have radius. Radius is optional. Then we are going to have resize mode. So the resize mode will be either a container, either it's contained or cover or stretch. That's the three we will need in this project. So depending on your project, you can add more to it. I think that's all we need to do here right now. So we will go back to our category card. We'll go back to our category card, and inside our category card, we'll import. Let's import that iCart params. Cool. And then we're going to bring in our item. We have the cart props, and then we have the cart style props. So let's declare a variable, and then let's say it's active. Variable is active equal to item.id. So we're using the item.id. If the item.id is equal to the cart props.active cart that we declared, you can see it here. The active cart, that is a string. So I'll show you what it means very shortly. So we're now saying let active be equal to item.id is equal to the cart props.active cart. So we're also going to declare border. Let border color equal to is active. If it's active, the border color will be red. Else make it gray. Make the border color gray. That's what we're saying. We want to give a different border color to an active category. The current category that is focus. We want to give it different border color. So, and then we're going to say let. So we're going to give a border width. So we'll give a border width of, if it's active. So if it's active, we want to increase the border width to 2. Else, make those ones that are not active, make them equal to 0. So if it's active, make it 2. Else, make it equal to 0. So that it do not look like optional chaining to you. So let me give it space. So we want to do text color for an active class. We want to give it a text color, and then is active. If it's active, give it the text color of red. Else, give it the text color of black. So very shortly, you will see what we're talking about. And I think that's all. We'll come to our view here. And inside this view, I'll remove this text. I want to pass a pressable. Inside the pressable, I'm going to add style. And I'm going to add an array of style. So the first one would be, let me call it style dot container. Okay, let's just remove the array of style. Let's just pass the container alone here. We will need to create that. Okay, quickly, let me just go and add it down here. So the error will go. So we're going to say style. Const style is equal to style sheet dot create. Style sheet dot create, and then we're going to have the container. So you see the error is gone. So we'll come back to it later and write the styles for it. So after this, we want to give it a key. We want to give it a key, and the key will be item.id. Yes. Then we want to give an onPress function. The onPress function will be gotten from the catprops.onPress. So we'll write view, and inside the view I want to give it a style. I want to give it an array of style, and it will be, this is where we are going to render our image. So it will be style dot, so let's say image container. So we're going to say image container. We will write that shortly, and then we want to recognize the border color, and the border color will be equal to the border color we declared here over there. That's it. Then we also want to recognize the border width. We want to give it a border width if it's active. So if it's active, it will have a border width and a border color. So that's what we want to pass in it. Okay, so let's come down here and write the code for the container. So for the container, we're going to have align items. We want to align items to the center, and then we want to give it a padding of 5. We want to give it a margin 3. To write image container. So image container, the image container will have a border radius. Let's give it a border radius of 20, and let's give it padding of 3. So we'll give it a padding of 3. So we'll go back to our code in here, and let's have our image. Our image will be a self-closing tag, self-closing comp. So we'll give it a source. The source will be URI dot. So we're going to get it from item. Sorry, URI. So the item dot images, and since it's an array, then we're also going to pass some other things into it. We want to give it a style. So we want to be able to change the style dynamically from our front end. So we will use the TypeScript. So we'll say cut style props dot width, the width, and then we also want to have the cut style props dot height. So we want to be able to change it dynamically. So we want to have cut style props dot radius, and everything will be tied to the image style. Let's call it the image style props. Then we also want to give it a resize mode. Resize mode will be equal to resize mode will be equal to cut style props, and then we're going to get the resize mode. So we want to be able to change this dynamically, use it, render it dynamically from the front end. So that's why we're writing all this. So to make the error go away now, we need to write the image style props. So we'll come out of the style sheet and create the image style props. We create the we say const. So that was what we called it. So we're going to say width, it's going to be number, and then height will also be a number, and then we have radius. Radius will also be a number. So we're having an error. It's supposed to be a column. This is what's supposed, not a dot. Yeah. So the error is gone, and then we're going to pass the image style props. So we're going to link them up together. So we just pass the width. We can pass the height as well, and pass our border radius because the name is different. The name we give it is different. So we have to target border radius, and border radius will be equal to radius. Cool, we're good to go. So we shouldn't have any error there any longer. So the error is gone. Then we can come inside our view. We'll come outside the view and render the text. So the text, we'll give it a style. I want to give it an array of style. And then we'll say, let's say color. We'll say color will be equal to our text color. Then we want to write, we're going to give it a style of, let's say, cart name, category name. That's what it means. So category name will be, so category name, we want to give it a font size. I want to give it a font size of 9. Font size of 9, and I want to give it font weight. I want to give it font weight of bold. So we'll come here and write it here. No, we'll be outside, and then I want to say style.cart name. That's it. So we're cool and we're good to go. So everything, that's all we just need to write here. We can now go to our front end and get the category card. Did we export? Let's see, we exported. Yes, we exported it. Okay, this is what we call, there's what we call the export default and the named export. So there are two different things. I'm just going to show you. Okay, let me just use the named export. This is what we call export default. That's a method, a type, and there's one way of exporting, and then we can use export. This is what we call named export, and I will show you the difference very shortly. So if we come here now and get our category, let's get our category card. Yeah, category card from category card. So it has imported it. Let me show you what it brings. You can see what it brings up. So there's a color brace covering that category card because of the export type we used. But for export default, you can see like image slider, it's an export default. We use export default, so it won't have color braces. So if you are using export like this, it must have color braces for it to work. This is what we call named export. So I'll not be using that anyway. Just wanted to show you the difference. So I'll come back here and undo. Let's go and check. You'll see there will be no color brace. You can see. Can you see the difference? That's just it. Please note it is very important because a lot of people run into that issue and you don't know that. That's just the simple reason why it's throwing an error. So we'll continue, and then let's pass in the props, the parameters that we declared in our category card. So we're going to be rendering them. So we'll start with the item. So it's already bringing item, and then see the way TypeScript is helping us to make this faster and professional. So we're going to say item. So we can now say item.name. This is cool, isn't it? And then we get, let's get the images, and then we can now map it to item.images. That's it. And then we may also need to use the ID. So we get the ID, and the ID will be item.id. Didn't we pass the ID? It seems we didn't pass an ID. Oh, because we are mapping from categories. Let's go to categories, and categories is equal to category params. So we need to go to our params, our home props rather. There's our home props. I think we have it here. Yeah. So we need to add. We just need to add ID here, and ID will be equal to string. That's all. So if we come back here, we would have the ID now. Oh, sorry, we added it to the wrong place. We're supposed to add it to our category params. Oh, we have our category inside the params. Yeah, this is where we have it. So we could have let's just take this to our home props so that we have everything inside the home props. So we just come here and add our ID, and it will be equal to string. So let's just move everything here. Let's move it to our home props. Let's move it to our home props and call it from our home props, since it's relating to home, to the home. So we'll go to our category, our middleware rather. Let's find the middleware. Yes, it's already throwing an error. So let's import. Yes, let's import it from home props. So we're going to import these params from let's remove this. Let's remove this, and then we'll come and import this from our home props, category params from home props. Yes, and then the fetch category too will be from home props. Fetch categories will be from home props. That's all. So if we come here, we would have. So we're going to get. Let's remove this as well, and then get it from home props. It makes sense. It makes more sense that way, since we already have something declared that takes care of it. So that's it. So if we come here now, we'll have our ID. .id, cool, and then we're good to go. Another thing we need to add is the key. So we'll come out of item and then I add key. Key will be equal to the index. So that's it. The next thing we want to add is the cart props, or let's use the cart style first, so that we can style things up. And then let's bring up the height. The height will be equal to 70. Then let's bring the width. So the width, I'll give it 72. And then we have the radius. Let's give radius. Okay, for now let's leave radius. And then let's use resize mode. And then we want it to be contained. So you see, to bring them up, you can see. And we declared it earlier. So that's all for. Let's see one more thing before the error goes off. You can see the error is already going out. Has already gone out. So we are going to use the onPress. Let's do active cart. Okay, active cart. So we'll declare the active cart. So let's make it equal to active cart. We haven't declared that, so we can target the active cart. We can store the active cart in a use state. So we'll do that very shortly. And then let's do onPress. So onPress will be. So onPress. So we'll use set active cart. So let's just go and declare the active cart using use state to store the active cart, so we can make use of it in here. So we'll come here and say const active cart, and then set active cart. Set active cart, right? Then we say use state, and it will be a string. So let's just pass that into it. It will be a string. So that's it. So we can come back here and set our active cart equal to, so we're going to say set active cart, and then it's going to be, we're going to set it to active cart. That's the thing. So I'll explain what that's going to do for us. So anytime the user click on any of the category, that category that was clicked will become the active cart. It will automatically set it to what as the active cart. So, and then we will use this active cart to get the active cart. So we can change the color and the border color and the text color. That's just what's happening here. So if I have everything here, and then if we've done everything correctly now, by the time we'll press save, we should have our result displayed. So I'm just going to come here. Okay, we've done that too. So let's just save everything now and let's see what we get. Cool, this is beautiful, isn't it? Wow, you can see the product is the images are displaying, and then it's scrollable, it's horizontally scrollable, and okay, the text is not displaying the name. Let's see, let's go. Maybe it seems we didn't add the name. Oh, we didn't add the name actually. So I'm just going to come here and say item.name. Yeah, and I think the name should be displayed. Cool, the name is displaying and it's showing very well. So the next thing we want to do is, so let's check the active class. Okay, we need to pass the first active class into it. So let's go to our database and let's select one of the ID there. Okay, let's take for shop women. Let's pass it as our default ID. So we'll come here to our use state and pass this as our default ID. Beautiful, you can see what it's bringing up. So it's showing a border color of red, and then the text is also what, red. So another thing we want to do now is we need to create, so we need to use the use effect. We need the use effect that will help us that will listen to the event and see when we toggle, when we change, and see user action. So if it changes, it will update it. We need the use effect for that too. So and I really want it to be separate because of the dependencies that will pass to it. So let's check the active event when we press. So if I press now, oh, it's not working, and ooh, it's actually supposed to be item.id, not active cart. So it's supposed to be item.id. So when we toggle, it's supposed to change that way. So let's try it now. Cool, and you can see it's working. So if I change it to home appliances, it changes to it. Let me zoom in so you can see everything clearly. So if I change this is beautiful, isn't it? If I change it to this, it's active. It's active. It becomes active. It becomes active. This is cool, isn't it? So we are going to, the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to display product based on the selected categories. So to do that, we're quickly going to create another component. We're going to create a product card inside the component folder. I'm going to call it product. I'm going to call it product card.tsx, and then using our TypeScript React Native shortcode. Yes, so inside the product card, we will be using text, view text, and then we'll be using pressable. We'll be using image background. We would use image. We would use, I think for now that's all. Then we'll go, let's create in our types, let's create category types, and it will be similar to the we'll create product types similar to the category types, but they have little things that makes them different, so we can reuse it. So we'll say product types.tsx, and then we'll go to our category types, copy it, and just make some adjustments to it to fit into our product types. So in our, we're going to call this, let's call this product params, or let's say product items. It's more, speaks more to it that way. So we're going to have the item, and now we're going to have the name, the images. We're still going to retain them, and then we'll add price, and you can use extend, but I just want it to be clear so that even beginners can follow along. So we won't be using extend, and the quantity may be undefined. So that's it with the background image from the backend as well. So we'll say background image, and it's going to be an array. We will have the onPress, we'll use the onPress, we will have index, we will need this. Okay, we already have an image background here, so there's no point. Let's take this out. So we'll be doing an onPress background, image background, and then we need index. So we need index, and in here we want to make our background image. Then we have product style props. So the text won't be too long. And in here we're going to use the width. We're going to use quite a lot of things. So we're going to use the width, we're going to use the height, we're going to use margin horizontal, we'll use the resize mode. So we also use text align. So text align. So and text align, it can either be center or auto or left. That's what I'll be using in this project. Depending on your project, you can add more. So I will be using margin horizontal. We need to make it dynamic too, because we will be using the product card in different places. So margin horizontal, margin horizontal, it will be a number, and then we need height too. Okay, we have height, so we'll need this. So we'll save this, and we'll go to our product card. Inside our product card, we will need this. Take this out, and then we're going to import product items, and let's destruct that. We will take item, we will need product props, and then we'll need the product style props. And inside our return, let's remove this. We will need this. And then in our view, let's give it a style. So we're going to be using the TypeScript method to add the style as well here. So let me quickly go down and declare it. Let's copy the one we did here. It's going to be similar to it, so I won't have to waste time on that. So we'll copy this, bring it here, we'll bring it here, and then we're going to have the width, we're going to have the height. Okay, let's have the width, let's have the margin horizontal, then we will need margin bottom as well, margin bottom, and they all be of number. And then we'll come here, so let's call this, let's say product card container. So we want to use it for the container, product card container. And for the container, we're going to have the width, we're going to have the margin horizontal, we're going to have the let's have the margin bottom as well. Then we will use, let's give it border, we'll give it border width. The border width will be 1. Let's give it border width of 1, border color of white, then border radius, let's make it 9, then background color. So we'll give it background color of white as well, and I think we're good to go. Let's bring it inside here. So we're going to use this style. So we're going to call it style and open it. We're going to have product style props, and then let's render the width. We're going to render the width. Let's render margin horizontal, and then we'll also render margin bottom. Oh, we didn't add margin bottom here, my bad. Where's our product type? Yes, margin bottom is not there, so we need to add margin bottom, and it'll be of number. So we should have a margin bottom now. Where is it? Here. Yes, and it'll be linked to our product card container. Cool, it's already bringing it up, and everything is fine. So the next thing we'll do is we'll get the image image background. So we'll bring in our image background, and inside the image background we'll have the source. Let's have the source, and the source will be URI, and it's going to be from our product props. And we're going to have our image background. So, and it's going to be an array as well, so we will put it this way. So we want to add style into that, and we're still going to use, let's use another type, because we want to also change render those styles dynamically. So we have to, so let's call this style to make it different. So we're going to call this style, and here the only thing we'll render here is height, and the height will be of number. We'll need to render so we'll say height, and border radius, we'll make border radius equal to 10, and then we'll change this to image background. Let's make this image bj, image background. So we'll come back here, inside here we'll render that, and we called it stl, and what we're bringing out there is the style props. We're taking it from, and then we want to render the height, and it will be coming from our image background. That's it. This is cool, isn't it? So let's give it image style. We'll give it image style, and then give it a border radius. Let's make it 6, and everything is fine. So inside this one now, inside the image background, we'll render the image, and then we'll use pressable. And the pressable, let's give it a key, and the key will be of index, or let's pass our item.id as the key, and then on press will be equal to product props dot on press. Yes, and then we have the style. Let's give it a style, and then we just want to align center. That's the style. Align item center. That's all. And from here we'll render our image. So to render the image is going to have a source URI, and the source will be from the item dot images, and it's an array. Let's give it style, and then we're going to give it a style. We're going to give it a style resize mode. So the resize mode will be equal to our product style props, and then the resize mode in there. Then we'll have the height. The height will be, let's make it 100%, and then the width, let's make the width 90%. And that's all. We're good to go. So we'll come out of the pressable now and come out of the image background. So for the text, for the name, for the product name, there's a way I want us to really display it also dynamically. So there's the part of the product card. There's a section where you want to display the product card without necessarily attaching a price to it. So we'll look into that. So if it's that, the product card will be displayed differently, and where there's a price attached to that product, then it will render a different view. So I will just quickly paste the text and explain to you so that I won't have to waste time writing that. So I have it here already. So okay, let me just take this, let me minimize, let me reduce this so you can see everything. So what we're saying here is if the price is equal to undefined, that means we don't want to display the price of the item that we are rendering. So at that point, we want to display a different text for the item name. I'll just bring this down so you can see it. So in that case, we want to display a different text as the item name. So we'll just display only the, that's here, we just want to display only the product name. We don't want to attach text price to it. So this is what we are going to render, and it will give a number of line is 1, and the font size, font weight, bottom, all that is pretty simple. So I will write the TypeScript for this shortly. But in a situation whereby we want to display the price and we are still going to be using the product card, so just one product card, we can reuse it, so we don't have to rewrite the card. So let me just bring all this down so you can see everything. So this is it. So let me bring this back. So in a situation whereby you only want to render the product card and the name without the price, it will render this. That means the price is undefined, so it will render this. But where you defined the price, it will render this instead, and it will have the current price and the old price. Everything will be displayed, including with the name. So you will see it very shortly. So let's quickly write the TypeScript for that. Now we'll come down here and then we'll call it const st text, and then we're going to say text align. So text align is to be center, auto or left. And we're going to render the text. Let's call it txt. I'm sorry, this will be in txt, and then text align. And it seems we have an error. Let's check what's the error. Saying type overload is not registered. Text align overload, give the following error: text align center left. Oh, see the mistake. Auto is in capital letter instead of small letter. Where did we have that? Oh, see. So it's auto. Yeah, let's check now. And the error is gone. You can imagine just that. And then we didn't add old price in our product types, in our product props, in our item. So we'll just come here and add old price. So let's add old price. Let's make it undefined for now. So old price. So and see, there's no more error. All the errors are gone. Everything is fine now. So that's what we needed to do. So I think with that, we are good to go with the product card. So quickly, so we'll come back to our home screen here. So we can render the product, and then we'll leave this view. So we'll leave this view and come here. We'll go out of the scroll view and create another view. So this view, we're going to give it a style. And let's give it a style of background color. No, we're not going to be giving a background color. We're going to be displaying an image background. So we just do flex direction. Flex direction will be row. Justify content will be center. Then we'll have margin top. Margin top will be 10. Then we'll come in here and render the text. and the text will say selected category. Selected category. So selected category, let's style it. So we'll give it a style, and then we say padding. Padding will be 10. Font size, let's give it font size of 20. And then font weight, let's make it bold. And then we are going to add pressable. Let's copy this, so we'll use it for the next text we want to display. So we have pressable, and then we can display the text in here, and this will be see all. So it will be bold, font size 15. Let's make this 15 instead of 20, and let's make this 10. So that's it. So if we save that, we should have it now. Cool. So we're going to say space between instead of justify content center. So we're going to say space between. Yeah. Cool. And it's beautiful now. This is how we want it to render. So we'll come here. The next thing we'll do, we're going to render another view here. We're going to render another view here. We'll give it a style. Give it a style of background color. Let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color of white. Then we have a border width of 7. We have border color of white. And then let's have flex direction. And the flex direction will be row. So let's bring this down here. So we're gonna have justify content, and the justify content will be space between as well. And then align items, the center, and let's give it a flex. Let's give it flex wrap, and then we're going to wrap it. Right here, let's pass a scroll view. We're going to render it horizontally this time. So we're going to say horizontal, and then shows horizontal indicator false. So this is where we're going to render the product by a selected category. So quickly, let's define that up here. So we're going to come here and define product by selected categories. So let's take this, it's going to be similar to it, bring it down here. So let's call it selected category. Set selected category. And inside this, we're going to be passing our product params. So we'll go to our home props and get our product param. So we've not declared any. So let's declare one here. Export interface. Let's call it product params. And inside that, let's check our product type. Yes, let's just copy all these. We'll be needing all this. We need ID, we need name. We need images, we need price, we need old price. We need quantity. We also need in stock. I need to be a boolean. We need category. Yes, we need a category. It needs to be, we're going to pass optional chaining into it, and it to be a string. we'll need description as well. Need a product description, and it's optional. It'll be a string as well. So for now, that's all we need. Then we'll come here and do export interface. Let's call this. Let's just copy this to make it faster. So let's say fetch product. Okay, so fetch product, and it will be of data. So here we're going to pass product. Let's pass product, and it will be equal to the product params. It will be equal to product params. That's all we need to also do here. So if we need any other thing, we'll add to it later. So let's save this. So after saving this, we can bring it into our home screen. So for now, let's close category card, and this, if we need it, we'll go back to it. So we can have more space. So let's go back to our home screen. So from the home screen now, we're going to bring in that product param. So we'll bring it in here. So we're going to bring our product params. Yeah, that's it. So from here now, we'll go to our middleware, go to our home middlewares, and so in our middleware, we're going to have selected category. Let's create an interface for that. So we're going to call it okay, let's bring it down and call this selected category props, and it will have, we're going to take the cat ID. The cat ID will be of string, and then we'll also set selected category. So we're going to say set selected category, and to be equal to product params. Yes, product params. And then we're good to go from here. So let's copy this too and make use of it here. So let's say fetch product, let's call it by cat ID. So fetch product by cat ID to be an async, and then we're going to pass our selected category. So inside the selected category, we're going to be passing two parameters. The first is a set selected category, and then cat ID. So these are the two parameters we'll pass in there. And we're going to come here and say response. So we have our part, let's call it product. So the same name, that's what we're going to give it at the back end, in our back end. So we'll say product by cat ID. Let's say product by cat ID, and then let's say product part. So we're going to call this product part, and this is the part. We'll come here and call it product part. And then we are going to receive a response. This will be equal to fetch. I think we call it fetch product. Yes, fetch product. And then we're going to call this is already given. It should be a response of product, right? Yes. So we have a response of product. And in here too, we're going to set selected category. Selected category, and it will be equal to products. And in here, let's do this because we also need to pass. We also need to pass the cat ID selected. So I'm going to copy this, comment this out, copy the path from here. Let's use object literals to pass the path and the cat ID. So I'll come here and do and add the backticks. I'll add the backticks. Put the path there. We don't need to use the string. Put the path here. And put the product part also. Let's add it here. And then I'll add the cat ID. That's it. Yeah, we're good to go. So I'm going to pass it this way. So based on the selection of the user, based on the category selected by the user, we're going to display product relating to that category selected by the user. That's what we want to do. So I think we are done with this. Everything is fine now. So we need to go to, and if there's an error, we just display the error. So we need to go to the back end and fetch the product. Okay, we need to create the product model, product controller, blah blah blah, and then so that we can create a product and then fetch the product. So let's go to the back end now. I think we're okay with the front end, so we'll go to the back end, and in our model we'll create the product model. So let's create product model.ts. So inside our product model, we're also going to copy, let's copy from our category model, and then let's delete this banner. So let's get our category model. And bring the product model here. So copy category model, bring it here and adjust it accordingly. So inside our product model, we are going to get a type check. So let's go to params. So params, it will be similar to the TypeScript. There will be similar to the one we declared in our home prompts. So the product params. So let's just copy this. So that will move faster. Copy this, bring it in here. Now let's call it product props, product params, product props. Okay, so we can call it product params. Or let's just give it another name so it can be different from the one in the front end. So we're going to have the name. So we don't really need the ID for now. We need the name, we need images, we need price, old price, description, we need description, quantity in stock, and then we still need is featured. So let's bring it featured here. So it will be Boolean. And we don't really need to pass all these optionals into it, because we'll need all the information there. We require all of them. So we can save it. So once we save it, we can then come back to our product model. We are not going to be using this, so let's delete that. Then inside here, we're going to call it product schema. And it will have a name, and it is required. It will have image, and it will have description. So let's just copy the name, bring it down here, call this description. So after description, we will have price. So we have description, we have price. Price will be a number instead of a string. So remove this. If you like, you can make it required. Then we'll have old price. Old price, we'll make it a number too. Then we have the category. So the category will be a reference. So it will be Mongos. It will be Mongos.schema, Mongos.schema.types.object ID. So we're going to reference it to the category it belongs to. So we want to link every product to a particular category, so that we can call it based on that category item. So we will link this. That's what this category is doing here. So we'll use it to link it up to the category it belongs. Every product should belong to a category. So that's the idea. So from there we have a quantity. So quantity will be a type of number. To be required true. And then I want to give a minimum quantity will be 0. So it shouldn't go beyond 0. It shouldn't go below 0 rather. And then if you like, you can add a max quantity. If you like, you can leave it. It's up to you. So I'm going to give it a max quantity of 700. Let's make it 500. Then in stock, we want to check if the product is in stock. In stock will be Boolean, and then it will take default. So default will be true, and let's just copy this for this featured as well. Is featured will be Boolean, and the default will be false. Or we can make it true. It depends on you, and then you change it to false when you are registering it, when you're adding the product. So I want to keep these ones the way it is right now. So we'll keep this one the way it is right now, and then we'll come here and say product. Let's call this product. Mongos.model, and we're going to use the product props. Yeah, product props. And we're going to call the name in the database as product. Call the name as product, and we are going to add a product schema. Product schema. Then we export products. Cool. See, it's faster now. That's all we really have to do here. That's all we really have to do here. So we'll come to this place. We'll come to our category model. So we're done with the product model. So we'll create, the next thing we'll create now is a product controller. So let's go to our controller here and create product controller. Product controller.ts, and then we're going to use our category controller as well. So let's bring category controller here. So as usual, we're going to copy everything inside the category controller, bring it to our product controller, and then we'll just adjust accordingly. We'll just adjust it accordingly. So we'll come to our product controller. Let's go to the header first. So in here, we won't use this. We won't use this as well. So we'll come here and export. Let's create the product. Let's create a product. So we can say create product, and then we'll come here. We're going to use the product props. Product props, yes. And then inside the product props, we have description, we have price, we have old price, we have category, we have quantity, we have in stock, and then we have this featured. Right? Yeah, that's all we have there. So we'll use the file to get our images. So the file will be the same. Then path, we're going to have the path will also be the same, and then we have the image. Everything here is the same. So we'll come here and bring in our product. We'll bring in our product. We're going to bring in our images. We'll bring in our description. Bring in our price. Old price. We'll bring, without price, we have category. We'll bring that category in. We'll bring quantity. We'll bring in stock. We'll bring this featured. And that's it, right? So we'll come and use our try catch block. Inside our try catch block, we're going to say await. So what did we call it here? We should call it product. So in here to be product, then we're going to save the product. We say product.save. So let's make it product because we're saving one product per time. So it makes sense that way. So we're saying product.save, and then we're going to say if everything works fine, if it's successful, we're going to say product created successfully. And then if it's an error, we'll say error failed to create product. That's it. This is cool, isn't it? So for now, let's, as usual, let's comment this out for now. We'll come back to it later on. So everything is fine. So we need to go to our controller index. Let's go to our controller index and export everything. From product controller. That's it. So we can close this. We can close this. Close the controller model. Close the product model. We're not going back to them anytime soon. And then we have the category model. Category model. We can close it too. So the next thing is we go to our route and create the product route. So we're going to create product route.ts, and then we'll bring in, let's bring in our category route. So because they're going to be similar to each other, to the category route. So inside the category route, we'll copy everything as usual, bring it to our product route, and make changes accordingly. We're going to remove this. I think that's everything we'll remove here. Then we'll come down here to our images. Images is still the same. We're using an array of images. So we're going to say category. We're going to call this create product. So create product, and we're going to bring in create product. Good from our controller. We can comment this for now. And that's it. That's basically all we have to do. This is cool, isn't it? Then we'll use the index as usual. Use the index, and then we need to export everything as product route. Yes. So let's call it product route. Then we can save it, come to our index, and say export. Export all from product route. Yeah. And save that too. So we now go to our app. We're going to our Express app, and then bring in, let's just copy this and bring it here, and we're going to call it product route. Yeah. So we're going to call it product route, and let's call this product. Let's check the name we gave it in the front end from our middleware. So we'll come to our middleware. Yeah, it's product. It has S. So we're going to add product. Now we can save it, and we'll make sure everything is saved. We can remove this. Come to product and save. So that's all. The next thing we need to do now is just go quickly and create the product. So I'll go to my Postman and let's create the product. So if we come to our Postman here, so we have create category. So let's just change this. Let's just change this to product. And then this will be create product. So it's going to have a name. It's going to have it will have images. After images, it has description. After description, it has a price, and then it has old price. It has category, right? Which one comes first? Yes, I think it's category. After category, it has in stock. Let's check it. Let's go to our category route. We can bring this down a little. Category controller. And check everything up there. So description, price, or price, category, quantity. Yes, we have quantity in stock and it's featured. So quantity in stock and it's featured. So I think that's all. So come here. Let's add pictures from our. So let's add for Shopman. So for Shopman, let's add this picture. So we're going to be adding an array of pictures here. You can see these pictures, they look alike. So all this product, they look alike. They're the same. They're basically the same. So we're just going to choose this. No. So we don't want to add too many products, so too many images rather. So they're just, so they're the same. This also the same with it. So I think it's okay now. Let's just leave it the way it is now. So we selected for Shopman for this particular product, and let's just give it. You need to write your own description. So we'll just write something there. This product. Something we can use is this product is very good and reliable and durable. So you write your own. So we give it a price. We'll give it name. So I'm just going to call it. Let me call it main fashion. I'll call it 000010. Or let's call it 0001. Then let's give it the price. Let's say it is the current price is 70, old price is 80. Category. So we'll go to our category, to Shopman, and pick the category ID. So we can look them up. So we're going to pick the category ID and dump it here. Then the next thing we want to ask is if it's featured. Is it quantity? Okay, let's say quantity. Let's say quantity is 15, and then is it in stock? Let's say true. In stock is true, and is it featured? Yes, we'll feature it. It's part of our featured product. Okay, I think that's it. We're good to go. So if everything works fine now, we should have product created successfully. So let's try it out. Cool, this works well. See, product created successfully. So if we go to our database, we should be able to have a product there. So let's go to our database and then let's refresh it. So you see we already have products. So we'll go there now. Let's check it. Cool, and you can see the product has been saved successfully in the database. This is cool, isn't it? And then if we go to our code, if we come here into our assets, okay, let's go to our. So we come to our asset here, you see that you have those products in there. You can see them here. Look at. Let me open one. Cool, you can see it already there. So everything worked fine. So we won't, so that I won't waste time. So I'll just go and add all the products and then get back to you. Like the one I added now was just for, it's just a sample. So I'll have to delete it because I already have the product, all the products as in JSON in an object. So I'm just going to import it into the database. So you can do the same too. And I'll leave the product, the details, the links to the product and the project file in the description box. So you can watch out for that to get So far I've been able to add all the products that were required. So I'll just take you to them. So you can see I've been able to add many products. So we have up to 50 something products. Okay, so we have 1 to 20 here, and we have more. So I've been able to add those products by myself. So we can move faster. And then the next thing we'll do now is we'll fetch the product. So let's fetch the product, and you can see the product images are here too. So let's close the asset. And then let's go back to our controller. Inside our controller now, let's get the product by category ID. So to get the product by category ID, we're going to come here. Let's copy this and make changes to it. So we're going to say constant get product by cat ID, get product by cat ID. So we're going to get it from our product schema, our product model. So let's bring that in. We'll bring our product model, and we're going to find product where category is equal to the request.params.cat ID. So we have that. So we need to bring, okay, we can just leave it this way, and then we're going to get the result. We're going to get the result. Yeah, in our front end. Okay, this one we need to add one closing bracket. Yes. So in our front end, we need to create that result for our fetch. I think we created one for product. So let's go and create result. So come here. I think that's all we really have to do here now. That's all. So we'll just change this. Let's say product found and category product not found. Product not found. So we're going to save everything here. So we need to create that in our route. So we'll go to our route, product route. Where's our product route? Yes. So inside our product route, we're going to create, let's copy this. And it will be a get request. So let's say get, let's call it product by cat ID, product by cat ID, and then we need to pass the param. So we're going to pass the cat ID or get product. Okay, let's just write it like this: product by cat ID, and then here we're going to call it, what did we call it in our controller? Get product by cat ID. Yeah, so we're going to pass get product by cat ID. Let's get product by cat ID, and that's basically all we need to pass in here. And I think that's all we also need to do. We don't have to do any other thing again. So we save this, and in our front end, we need to go to our home props. Yes, in here. So we need to create the result, because we're using result. So we need to make this result. We can create result, so we can fetch it as well, and make sure the spellings are correct. So we'll come here. What did we call it in our product controller? Result. Yes, result. So let's save the product controller too. Let's go back to our middleware. So we're saying product by cat ID. So they must correspond. So let me copy this, dump it here. Now route, where's our route? So inside our route here, product by cat ID. So that we'll make sure that so that we can ensure that there's no mistake. Product by cat ID. Let's save that. So one more thing we need to do, we need to use our use effect to get that. So we'll go to our home screen. Now our home screen here, we need to use the use effect. So let's copy this, bring it here. So we're going to say fetch. It's fetch product, right? Product by cart ID. We're bringing in, and then we're going to set it to set select. That's why it's still yelling. We have the cart ID, so we need to get the cart ID, and the cart ID will be active cart. See, no more error. And this now will have to the active cart needs to update. So every time we change, we select, and every time the user select another category, it needs to update. So we can fetch product based on that category. So as a result, we have to pass the active cart. So it will always, it's a dependency. It will always look at every time there's a change in the active cart. So it will update it and fetch the product based on the active cart. And so that cart becomes the new active cart. So it will update that state too. So that's the idea. And then there's another thing we need to use. We need to use focus effect. So we call it use focus effect for at React navigation. So it will help us to refresh and update our state anytime there's changes. Anytime there's changes, it will update it. So I'm going to use callback from React. So I'll use callback will pass a dependency into it too, and it will be active cart. So we're going to bring this inside here, and that's it. So let's save, and then we have an error. Our use focus effect is supposed to be like this. Yes, so let's refresh. Cool, you see everything is working fine. So everything is working fine now. So our use focus effect is working. And then, so if we go to our, let's console if we get any data. Okay, saying result doesn't exist. Okay, sorry. Response. Okay, let's make our response equal to result, because that's what we're actually getting. So our response is supposed to be result, and then this is supposed to be result. Yes, so let's try it again. Cool, you can see we are getting it based on what the user selection. You can see it's bringing it up already. Let's go to the back end. You can see it's bringing it up as well. So if we select, let's select MERN fashion. You can see it's bringing up MERN fashion. Every product relating to MERN fashion is bringing them up, and that's what we are. You see, it's changing. And this is cool. So pretty quickly, we are just going to display them in the front end, so you can all see what's happening. So we'll go back to the front end and have them displayed. So we'll come here. Let's comment it out, and let's go to our home screen and render the product, the selected category. Let's render it now. So we'll come down here. We'll come inside our scroll view. So inside the scroll view now, we're going to see, so let's say selected category, and then we'll map through it. So we won't waste time. Let's just copy from the last one and make adjustment to it. We don't want to waste time. So we'll copy this, bring it here. So we're going to say selected category dot map index. Yeah. So here we're going to use the product card. So it has imported the product card, and then in our item we're going to have the name will be item.name, images will be item.images. Okay, let's go back to our product card, and our product card is yelling at us. So inside our product card, let's go to our product types. Where's our product types? So this ID, let's make it optional. let's make the price optional. So we want to render the price here. So let's make the price optional. So we'll come here, and then so in here we're going to be using product props. I think we'll call it product props instead of product props. So we're just going to remove all these and bring up everything we have inside our product props. We have the onPress. So we have the onPress. The onPress will be a function, and then we're going to say navigation.navigate. So we want to navigate to the product details screen when it's pressed. So you can see product details, and you can see TypeScript is already bringing this suggestion to us, and then we're going to move the item. So now we're having an error here because we have not declared the parameters for the product details. So for now, let's just comment this out, and then we need to also make it optional for now. We'll come back to it later so that we can just render the product, and we'll go and do for product details and everything we need to add up. So in here, we need to create the image background too, because we made image background compulsory. So we're using this compulsory. So quickly, let's just go and create image background, and let's add them to the database because I want everything to be full stack and coming from the back end. So quickly add the image background at the back end and then come back to it so that we can display the image background for it. So we'll go to the back end here, and it's going to be similar to almost the same with image slider, the banner slider. So we'll just go and copy from banner slider. So we'll go to the model, to our model. So model, inside our model, we'll let's create image background, image pg model.ts, and then we'll bring our banner model. They're just the same. So copy everything from the banner model, dump it at the image background model, and then we'll just make adjustment. So even their params are the same, but let's just write there its own params. So we'll come here, and inside here, let's copy the banner params, and then make these image background params, image bg params, and it's going to be the same. Then inside the model itself, so inside the model itself, we're going to delete this. And then we're going to use image bg props, save it, save params, and then we're going to call this image background, image bg. Let's call it image background, and then it's going to be, let's call it image background, image bg schema, so let's call this image background, and let's export image background, and that's it. Everything is fine, every other thing is the same. So we'll go to the route, the controller rather. So with the controller, and let's create image background controller, image bg controller.ts, and then bring the banner controller. So we can remove the params, remove the banner model. So we have the controller in here. So inside the controller, So inside our controller now we have the image background controller, and okay, we have the banner controller here. So banner controller, let's just copy everything as well, bring it here, paste it, and then we're going to be using so this will be create image bg, and then we're going to use image bg controller, bg params. It has imported that. Every other thing remains the same. We'll come here and then we import image bg, and all these are the same, are going to be the same. So everything here will be the same. We'll have, let's call this background image, and then to get the background image, so this is fine. So we'll say image background created successfully. Fail to create image, and then we're going to use image background get image bg, image bg image bg. So I think that's it, we're good to go. And I should have just, so we say image background. So we save everything here. So we'll come to our index, now controller. There's it, index in our controller. So inside index in our controller, we'll export. Let's export image background controller and save that. So we'll come to our route and create the image background route. So image bg route .ts, and then we'll go to our banner route, copy everything inside our banner route, paste it here. Banner controller, we can remove it now. So we're going to delete this. Everything remains the same apart from, so we're going to, let's call this image, we're going to call this image background, and then it will come from create image background, and this will be get image background, and let's call this get images, or let's call it get image bg. And I think that's all. Every other thing is fine. So we bring it to our inside our index. So copy this, duplicate it. We have image route. So we need to export everything as image route, as image background route. Yeah. And the error is gone. So inside our Express, let's bring out image background controller, and then the product. Where's our Express? Inside our Express. So inside our Express, we'll come and then let's just copy the banner. Copy now and then import image background route. And that's all. Let's save it as well. So everything is fine. So let's go and create the image background. So it seems we're having an error somewhere. Let's save this. Seems we didn't save this. So it's working. We didn't save our index route. So let's save again. So you see everything is working. So let's add those background to our database now. So let's see the post for. So we can use this. It's one, and then we're going to get the. We called it. What did we call it? Let's look for it. So in our route, in our image background route, so we called it to post it. We call it image bg. So that's what we're looking for. So we'll come here and paste image background, and it's going to be a form. So body, and it's a form. So there's a. So let's pick the image background that we want to add. No. And so let's delete this, add new, and then let's get the background images we would like to add. So I'd like to add this. Okay, let me go back like this. Cool. So these are the backgrounds I have. So I want to add this. So let's add this light pink, and I'm going to call it. So let's call it light pink. Light pink PG, and it's active. Let's make it true. So if everything works fine, it should be saved. Image background created successfully. So if we refresh now, okay, let's just add the remaining ones, and then we can check everything all at once. So let's just add the remaining ones. So let's add another. So I'm going to use this. Let's use blue background. I'm going to call it blue background. Blue background, let's add it. So let's add some more. I'm going to use, let's add this too. Green background. You can see this is working very fine. Everything is working very fine. So it's created. Let's add another one. Let me add this. So let's add one more. Let's just add this silver background. So you can add as much as possible, and even subsequently, depending on your need. So we have silver background. So everything has been created successfully. So if I go to the back end now and refresh it, we should have the image background collection. So cool, we have image background. So I'm going to open it up so you can see it. Good. So we have 5 images there, and you can see them. This is cool, isn't it? So now we can fetch it. So to fetch it quickly, we'll go to our front end. So in our front end, we'll go to home middleware, and then copy for where's our banner. So they're almost going to be the same. So in here, we're going to copy banner, and we're going to call it interface PG images, or let me just call it image PG props, and then it will take So we're going to say set image background, and it's going to be, so let's create the image background or params in our home props, and it'll just be the same as this. So let's just copy these two and bring it here, and then we're going to call it image bg params, and every other thing remains the same, and then fetch image bg. So we save it here, go to our middleware, we go to our middlewares, image bg params. Cool, we save that. Then we can come here now inside our banner here. We'll just duplicate this and make corrections to it. So we're going to fetch, let's fetch image bg. So fetch image bg will be equal to image bg props, and it will have set image bg, and then the file part will be image bg. We'll get that very shortly. I think it's image bg, but we'll confirm that very shortly. And this will be fetch image bg from home props. So the path and the file are the same. Then we're going to get response. I think response is oh, we didn't change the response in here, so let's change the response. The response will be image bgs, so we can get the response from here too, from our middleware. So it will be image bgs, and then we're going to set image bg equal to image bgs. And if there's an error occurred, and everything is okay. So okay, let's get the path. Let's confirm the path from the back end from our image route. Yes, image bg, that was what we used. From our controller, from our image bg controller. Okay, we've deleted that. Okay, let's just move forward. I think we've done everything correctly. So in our home, okay, if we come here, where is it? Image bg, and then we can say image bg, images found. So we need to run it from the front end as our product card. Your product card, yeah. So from the front end now, we need to call it up using the use state. So we'll go to our home screen. From the home screen, rather. So from the home screen, we're going to, let's just attach it. So we say, where's our banner? So from our banner, we can just copy this, duplicate it, and use it accordingly. So we're going to set, so we say, so we'll call it image bg and set image bg. So we remove the banner, set image bg, and this will be equal to image banner params, image background params, and every other thing remains the same. So we'll just come in here and get, let's fetch image background, and it will be equal to set image background. So we're cool and we're good to go. So it will be equal to image background, and we can't afford to press save now, because if you press save now on the home screen, it will throw an error because already showing is an error. So we'll just come to here, our product props, and add, so we'll add the image background. That's the idea, so that at least we can get rid of the error. So the image background now will be equal to image bg, and then we're going to select, there's this method, so let's select let's select anyone for now, then later we can go back to it, and then you can see it's bringing up the images. So we select it from image, and you can see the error is no longer there. So let's do for our, so instead of using the cart props, we're going to use the product style props. here, and that's all called the P style props here. So inside our product props, I think that's just the two things. These are just the two things. So in our style props, let's bring up the. So in our style props, we have the height. So let's make the height equal to 170. Then let's call another one. We have the width, and the width we are going to make it. We're going to call it from the screen dimensions. So let's quickly write that. So we can target it based on the width of the screen where the app is displayed. That way it makes much sense. So we'll come here and let's say const selected category. So selected category width. Let's call it selected category width, and we're going to get it from dimensions. So we're going to get it from dimensions, and then we say dimensions.get. So we're going to get the screen, and then we're going to divide it. Let's say width. We'll say width by 2. Let's say 2 and give it padding of 10. So that's what we want to do here. So we'll come and call it out from here. So the width will be equal to selected category width. So let's call another thing. So we want to have resize mode. The resize mode, it will give us the options. So we're going to use contain, then call margin horizontal. Let's make it margin horizontal of 5. We get the text align. Let's make the text align equal to center. So let me bring text align down. So text align equal to center. I think for now that's all we need to do here, and you can see we no longer have any error. Everything is fine. This is cool, isn't it? So if I save it now, we should have some value. So we have an error and it's saying, so we'll go to the backend and let's see where the issue is coming from. Okay, so from here now, problem, that's number one problem. So let's copy the one we have. Remember I used to talk about that. They must be the same. It has to be the same. So it can read it. So it's image bg that we're supposed to pass. So we're supposed to pass image bg here. So let's pass this and then save it here. Come to our middleware. So in our middleware, it's supposed to be image bgs. It's very important. So we're going to pass that in here and save it. So we're still having an error. So let's look, where's the error coming from again? Let's go to the back end. We're still having an error and it's still saying images of undefined. So we've gotten this. Let's come here. So look at it here. So the get is supposed to be get image bg, and we use the route name for post for creating image instead of to get the image. So we'll come back to the front here. You'll see where's it. Look at, we're using the one for posting, the one that we used to post for the post request instead of the get request. So the get request is get image bg. So that's the thing. So that's the thing. So we didn't save that. So let's save this as well. And you can see we're already getting the image, the image background from our middleware. So it's already showing them. And you can see I said where's the images found. So images found, so it has found them here. So it's working fine here. So let's go back to our home screen. So from our home screen now, we come here to our selected. Okay, probably we need to reload our use effect because the use effect has not updated. I think that's where the problem is coming from. So let's reload our use effect. Yeah, I think that's where the problem is coming from. No, not this. Yes, this set image background. So let's save this. So let's reload our use effect. You can see that's where the problem is coming from because it was still using the previous state. So now we've been able to get the new state. And you can see the image background is coming up. Cool, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, isn't it? Do like, subscribe, and share this. You really need to hit the like button, please. This is beautiful. You can see, so we have the image background and we have our images displaying, and then we gave it the padding of 10. And you can see we divided the width into 2. So it can display 2 card. So you can see it, and this is beautiful, isn't it? So let me select shop MERN, and it will change that. This is cool. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is beautiful, and you can see it displaying. So let me go for fonts. If we go to fonts, it will change and display fonts. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, and you see it's displaying every information regarding fonts. Let's go to computers. Cool. Let's go back to shop women, and the next thing we really need to do now is to perform the navigation function, so that when you click, you want to get the product information. So we want to navigate to our product details. So before we do that, we now need to go to our root navigator and create the params for the product details. That's why we could not navigate. That's why it's showing an error, because the parameters are not set. Product details is undefined, and we are passing a parameter of item, so it's not set. That's why it's showing an error. So quickly we'll go into. Hi everyone, welcome to this exciting React Native full stack e-commerce project. This project, we're going to be using React Native, TypeScript, MongoDB. We're going to be using Redux Toolkit, and then we're going to be using Stripe Payment Gateway. And if you're loving this already, please do hit the like button, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for being amazing. So without wasting time, I'm going to show you about the demo of the project, so you can see what we are going to achieve by the end of the project. You can see this beautiful home screen already. We have the header section, and we have the banner slider, and then everything will be coming from the back end, from our MongoDB back end. We also have the category section. This category section is lovely and beautiful, isn't it? So if I press on shop MERN, you would see that the selected category will change based on our selection, on the category selected, and this is horizontally scrollable. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, and you can see the selected category has an image background, everything coming from the back end. If I choose, let me choose home appliances, and you can see it has changed. And this is beautiful. If I choose, let me select home phones, and you can see the phones also and this is horizontally scrollable. Then the category is also horizontally scrollable, and then we have the flash sales section with a different image background also coming from our MongoDB. You see how this works. And then we have this beautiful limited deals, and look at this, is horizontally scrollable as well, and this is beautiful, isn't it? Do like, share, comment, and then give me your feedback, and most importantly, please subscribe. It's very important. Subscribe. Thank you very much. So let's say if I click on any of this, let me click on this phone, and you can see we have navigated to the details screen, and it's also horizontally scrollable. This is cool. Let's go back. Let me choose from our flash sales. I'm going to select the yellow smartwatch, and you can see everything coming from the back end from our MongoDB database. So here, let's choose, and we have this cool product added successfully, and you see our cart has changed to 1, from 0 to 1, and this is cool. If I try to add it again, it tells me product already added to cart, and our cart remains 1. Let's add another product to the cart. So let's come here. Let me take from this. I'm going to choose this, and you can see this is beautiful. If I select it again, product added successfully, and then we have cart equal to 2. And then from here, you can also see we have this beautiful icon on our cart.